Spawn 27 here, bringing Fairy Tail Chapter 362, Natsu versus Jackal. So the chapter begins with Natsu saying, "I'm all fired up." Oh god, I got a real bad feeling about this. So after Jackal was incredibly surprised that Natsu was able to survive his explosions, he asks him, "Who the hell are you?" And Natsu replies, "I'm Natsu," while he punches Jackal in the face. However, since he came in contact with Jackal, once again he starts to explode. And just like in the ending of the previous chapter, he's okay. Now, ever since the previous chapter, I was confused on how Natsu was able to survive Jackal's explosion. Well, it turns out that he ate the explosions, probably right when the explosions start to activate. The problem is, however, we didn't know about this conclusion until 13 pages later. I had to wait 13 pages for an explanation as to why Natsu survived. Once again, Jackal's incredibly freaked out, so he decides to transform and morph into this Jackal, I guess an actual Jackal or something, whatever. So Jackal punches Natsu and an even bigger explosion occurs. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Ever since chapter 359, there's been lots of explosions. So you know what? Here's another drinking game for you guys. Introducing the Jackal Explosion drinking game. Every time you see an explosion, take a drink. I'd say begin near the ending of chapter 359 and work your way up to this chapter. I bet you guys will be incredibly wasted. So I guess since Jackal was able to transform into his demon form, I guess it's safe to say that every Tartaros member has their own demon transformation, just like him and Doriarte. And with this demon transformation of his, Jackal's explosions are incredibly stronger. So Jackal slams his fist onto Natsu, which he blocks it. And then Jackal says, "Humans are not capable of besting demons like us." So Jackal tries to use another, I guess, exploding punch. And then Natsu, for some goddamn reason, thought this would be a good idea to tell him what is his reason for fighting, even though Jackal didn't even say anything that would lead up to this. Since Natsu figures that the reason Jackal's fighting is because he is a demon, then he says, "We fight for the sake of our injured friends, no matter if our opponents are humans, demons, or even gods." Okay. I will admit, the fight did look kinda cool and all, but are you freaking kidding me? Do we really need another nakama friendship speech at this point in time? And you'd think that with this transformation of his, Jackal might have gained the upper hand. No, Natsu kicked Jackal's ass, even with this demon transformation. Anyway, he uses the technique called Lightning Flame Dragon's Firing Hammer, which I'll admit is an incredibly cool technique because he fire lightning punches Jackal all across the town, which managed to destroy a portion of it, and that's the end of the fight. Jackal loses, although of course without the whole contact explosion thing that happened with Natsu. Okay, I'll admit that Jackal did at least give Natsu a hard time. The fact that this fight lasted for like 13 pages, which I'm not that surprised since Natsu now figured out how to stop the explosions. Now, meanwhile with the X-Seeds, Happy and Charles managed to evacuate all the townspeople, and Natsu's won, and with Jackal defeated, they'll be able to extract some information out of him about Tartaros and all that. However, Jackal is still conscious, and you get to see this weird glow coming out from the ground. Then Jackal says, "I'm sorry, Kyoka, but at the very least, I'll take these guys down with me." Jackal decides to blow up the entire town, taking down his opponents with him before he dies. Oh gee, I wonder where I've seen that before. So yeah, pillars of light started to come out from the ground, and Jackal turns himself into an explosive to not only destroy the town, but also to kill Natsu and the others with him. Anyway, surprise, surprise, Happy grabs Jackal and flies up towards the sky so that he could save everybody and not destroy the town when it starts to explode. Okay, I have a root problem with this. If Jackal was the one that became the explosion to destroy the entire town and try to kill everybody in it, although all that's left are the fairy tale team and not the townsfolk since they evacuated, why doesn't he glow with that light? Instead, the light was like coming from underground inside the town. I mean, if Jackal was the explosive, he should be the one glowing, not the entire land that was coming from underground. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, anyway, Happy flies Jackal all the way up to the sky. Jackal's final word was, "Damn it!" And a massive explosion has occurred. The town has been saved. Fairy Tail has been saved, all thanks to Happy's sacrifice. Rest in peace, Happy. At least you haven't died in— Oh, that is complete bullshit! No. I call bullshit on this. After that dramatic situation where Happy was supposedly sacrificing himself to save his friends and the entire town, he doesn't die, especially when he was right dab in the middle of the freaking explosion. Okay, I know this is Happy, but Hiramashima doesn't really explain how the hell Happy survived from that explosion. That is complete bullshit. Especially in the moment where you see a panel of Charles actually tearing up because of what happened to Happy, and all that was completely wiped away. So yeah, Jackal is dead. Happy's supposed sacrifice wasn't technically really a sacrifice because he managed to survive somehow, and it hasn't even been explained how he survived an explosion when he's like right dab in the middle of it, and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 362. What did I think? Alright, you know what? I'll just say the positives. Alright, the positives. I did like Natsu's fire, lightning, dragon slayer attack. I thought that was pretty cool. And I did like Jackal's demon transformation. He looked like an actual jackal, and it seems his explosions were incredibly stronger. But then we have to move on to the negatives of this. Even with Jackal's transformation, and even though with this transformation, it would have enhanced his explosion curse abilities, which means that he would have been a lot stronger in his demon transformation. In this case, when it came to Natsu, he was still able to lose. I will admit, Jackal did give Natsu a hard time, and I knew that Natsu was gonna win, so I guess that was freaking obvious. But what was the point of that transformation if Natsu was going to win? He didn't really struggle that much when Jackal transformed, so I didn't see really what the point is with that. And also the friendship speech that he said, the fairy tale fights for their friends, there was actually nothing that would have triggered it. Natsu thought he'd say it because, I don't know, I felt like that speech he said was completely out of place. I mean, Jackal didn't even say the reason why he was fighting in the first place. Also, I guess, none of this would have happened if he didn't toy around with those humans and actually killed Mikero and completed his mission, but no, he decided to toy them around, and this is what happens when you do that. Granted, it hasn't really been confirmed whether Jackal's officially dead, but since he blew up like that. And of course, the other negative, which is near the end. I did like the fact that Happy was willing to sacrifice himself to save everybody in the town, even though I thought the town was completely evacuated, and Jackal's self-destruct would have tried to kill Natsu and the others. It was like a really nice dramatic moment. And then in the end, Happy was okay with no explanation whatsoever. Oh, and yeah, he has an afro. Haha, very cute. No, that is complete bullcrap. I mean, seriously, in the Cell games, when Goku teleported Cell away before he could self-destruct and try to destroy Earth, he died. King Kai died. When it came to Exy, no, he didn't die. I mean, when Sasuke survived Deidara's self-destruct technique, at least Kishimoto came up with a way of how he survived, even though it's doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it. At least it was an explanation. Here, Happy is okay for some reason, and we don't know why. Maybe he flew away at the very moment the explosion occurred. I don't know. I mean, at least I let Natsu slide because he was able to eat the explosion. Happy, on the other hand, can't eat an explosion. Maybe he flew away. I don't know. It's just, maybe we'll get an explanation in next week's chapter. This is just, I'm sorry. The ending kind of irked me. And the fight, well, it didn't really bug me that much because I knew this was going to happen in the first place. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I know this was supposed to be a happy ending, but considering how the conclusion went, this chapter, it wasn't as good as, like, the previous chapters. To me, the negatives kind of outweighed the positives in this week's chapter. So anyway, next week's chapter is going to be called The Demon Notebook. I'm guessing that we'll probably learn about the Book of Zareth or something. Or maybe we'll get to learn more about Tartaros. Or we get to learn if Jackal is alive or not. I don't know. All I know is that since Mikero's alive, then he probably has to tell them about the White Inheritance faith. But then again, if Jackal is now dead, all that's left is the remaining Kyukemon. You know what? When it came to Tempesta, I let it slide because Loxus's lightning is incredibly faster than Tempesta's curse. But at least with Tempesta, he managed to at least cause some serious damage by sacrificing one of his lives to create this magic poison mist to kill everybody. Like, minus the Raijin Shu. Yajima and Laxus, but at least he tried to cause some serious damage. Here in this case, Jackal did not, since everybody turned out to be okay, and even though parts of the town was destroyed, yeah. And you know what? Jackal seemed like an incredibly strong opponent, which he was during the beginning, but obviously, since he was fighting against Natsu, I knew it, he was going to lose. I just hope that the remaining Kyukimon aren't gonna end up like what happened with Tempesta or with Jackal. Maybe Kyoka might be interesting. Maybe Kyoka might be an incredibly tough opponent. Or maybe the Guild Master of Tartaros or something. I don't know. So yeah, overall I thought this chapter was not as good as the previous ones because the negatives outweigh the positives. I know that this situation also happened in One Piece. I think it was in the Alabasta arc. So any One Piece fans listening to this, can you guys tell me how did that character, I think his name was Pell, I'm not sure, how did he survive from an explosion? That was Fairy Tail chapter 362. Tell me guys, what do you think about this week's chapter? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like the conclusion of the Natsu versus Jackal fight? And were you like disappointed of what happened with Happy? Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe for more videos. Also, be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 362. Once again, negatives outweigh the positives in this week, but I hope that Tartaros, the remaining members of the Kyukimon, will be a lot better than Jackal and maybe Tempesta. I'm going to Spiral 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.